How to develop plans to implement an information security strategy. First of all, your strategy is there to protect your business processes to achieve your business goals. So what are your goals? What processes go into that? And we want to protect them. So we have to look at our activities, our projects, and initiatives that are going to support the objectives. And it says of the information security strategy. But the information security strategy is to protect the business objectives. So let's look at that a little higher, understand what's going into it, not just thinking about security. If you're thinking about security, you're not looking at the real picture. It's supporting the organization, the business objectives. Consider developing an enterprise security architecture at the logical and physical levels, something that covers the whole enterprise, the whole business. And each individual department will then tailor it to match them, but there'll be certain standards for the organization as a whole. Identify technical, procedural, and physical controls to be used in the activities, projects, and initiatives. Controls again, safeguards, countermeasures, things to monitor, things to restrict, things to reduce our risk. Determine which controls need to be developed and implemented in the existing infrastructure. Identify plans for developing and implementing newer revised controls. You got stuff out there. Is it working? If so, keep it. If it's not effective, modify it or look at what's wrong and maybe you strip it out, put something new in. Maybe that area, due to changes that have been made, no longer need a control because other things are built in to limit. And the controls can be better placed elsewhere and do more good. Identify the order in which the controls should be implemented, usually based upon criticality and the amount of risk that you face. If you're going to lose $1 million if something goes wrong here, you're going to lose 50 cents if something goes wrong here, equal likelihood. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time protecting the 50-cent item. Why am I thinking of music now? But that's a different issue. I'm going to spend my money protecting the $1 million because that's worth a whole lot more. Develop program documentation, including policy documents. Policy comes down from executive management and functional policy from functional management. Standards, what's routine and expected, binding upon people in your organization. And then finally, the processes and procedures, documentation of how to do it. And when you're looking at procedure manuals and such, think disaster recovery. Think the person that's doing that job got wiped out, they're gone, you got to get someone else to do it. Maybe call someone from a temporary agency that understands the general area, that knowledge, but don't know your company, they can follow the manual. Maybe you take someone from a lesser position that understands your organization but doesn't know how to do those things in particular. They could follow the manual and do it. You probably want to document things to that level. Assume the worst and then you'll be okay because anyone can follow it. Maybe that guy can't get out there, they're trapped, maybe they're hurt. Count on someone else doing the job, not your good people. Write documentation for someone lesser in the organization. And determine and document the resources necessary to implement the plan. What people are needed, what funding is going to be needed, what assets have to be available. And make sure they are available. Make sure the plan calls for it. Make sure it's funded. Make sure they'll be available. Or that plan's not going to work, and what's the point of having it if it doesn't work?